Who is she?
Can you do Gaudete?
This is quite possibly the biggest mystery in Doctor Who history, nice accidental rhyme,
Signing off.
for a very, very long time.
2 cups of tea, my darling.
And we're gonna get answers very soon.
Contact detected.
She's everywhere.
I haven't met you before, have I?
Well, I don't think so. Well, don't come back. That's half a crown. Give me some Willie. Gina Scalzi. John.
Anything off the trolley, dears?
One of those was not like the others. Hello YouTube and people of the interwebs, welcome back to another Doctor Who theory video. Today we're going to be breaking down all the top theories on Susan Twist's incredibly mysterious character who is kind of as of yet unnamed, but we do know her character's name in the finale, so hold on, we'll get to that. If you want to remain completely unspoiled, maybe you will. This video is just theories and speculation. However, there may be one or two tiny minor spoilers which aren't really spoilers because they've been revealed by official material. But we'll start at the beginning. Her first appearance as Miss Meridew in Wild Blue Yonder. Seemingly insignificant, but changing the word from gravity to mavity may have been her doing. A little bit of meddling going on there, we'll come back to that word later. Also note that in Wild Blue Yonder, when she appeared for the first time, the TARDIS was going wrong. It's also worth noting that she appeared here before the 14th Doctor sprinkled the salt at the edge of the universe. Was this Russell deliberately establishing that she's not one of these godlike figures? She's been there since before these events took place. Then maybe she appeared in the Giggle. Let's not forget this mysterious hand of a woman picking up the golden tooth, which was actually the form of the Master compressed by the Toymaker into a golden tooth. So yeah, maybe that was Susan Twist. It could have been a variety of other characters. Let me know your theories on who actually picked up that golden tooth in the comments, because that's something that hasn't been resolved yet. And maybe that was just a fun play on like the sort of trope of the Master's always going to come back. But who knows, maybe it ties into the theory. Then in Space Babies, she decided to cosplay a Star Trek character. And yeah, she was one of the crew of the Space Baby ship who left the ship to go and protest or something. She was there briefly. In The Devil's Cord, she was the tea lady. But notably, the Ruby? The Doctor and Ruby never actually saw her face in The Devil's Cord. And I'm being an idiot. I've forgotten one of the key ones. The Church on Ruby Road. Episode 1, the Christmas special of this new era, she was there. So hold off, people in the comments. You don't need to tell me I missed out that one. I didn't. She asked Ruby's band to play Gaudete, which is a weird request because it's like a Christmas carol from the 1600s, which, you know, maybe that's implying some sort of monastery, monkery. We'll get to that in a minute. Then in Boom, she was the ambulance. 73 yards, she was a hiker, just asking Ruby. She seemingly didn't know who the Doctor was, that's worth noting, and Ruby apparently sort of vaguely recognised her but didn't really know where she'd seen her. Was Susan deliberately pretending to not know who the Doctor is or was she deliberately hiding this? Is she in control of this? Is she waiting? Is she the one who waits? In Dot and Bubble, she is playing Penny Pepperbean, who I presume to be a family member or the mother of Lindsay Pepperbean, who is our lead actress, or character. That's not the actress's name. Then in Rogue, she's confirmed to be playing a character called Portrait. Maybe she is actually a portrait and it's just the Doctor and Ruby looking up at a portrait of her. But the finale is where we get very interesting. This is a minor spoiler, so maybe skip ahead a little if you don't want to hear it. She's playing a character called Susan Triad. S-Triad. Susan Triad. Where have we heard the word triad? Well, we've heard triad technology mentioned, I think, 2 or 3 times in this new era. First by Mel in The Giggle. Susan Triad is set to make a big appearance in the finale. She's even been briefly shown in a little trailer here, where her and the Doctor kind of seem to be having a little, maybe a confrontation, or maybe this is a sort of he is recognising her moment, like with the Toymaker. Anyway, our first theory. She is the TARDIS. I've got a full video breaking this down, so go and check that out, but I'll run you through the basics of this theory. Our other suspicious character, Mrs. Flood, is one half of the TARDIS, or one TARDIS, and Susan Triad is the other. Remember, at the end of the giggle, the TARDIS splits in two. Let's say both of these things took on human forms because of godlike abilities or a mystery we haven't yet unravelled. Mrs. Flood is like the good TARDIS. I mean, she literally looks into the camera, winks, and says, "Never seen a TARDIS before." Maybe that has a double meaning. She wasn't talking about the TARDIS that just left. She's also talking about herself. And Susan Triad is the other TARDIS, or other half, maybe more evil side to the TARDIS. One, we know that the TARDIS has been going wrong. Look at every landing it's made this season. It doesn't just materialise in and out, it goes BAM! And that's been happening since Wild Blue Yonder. So something suspicious is going on with the TARDIS. Russell has also told us to take note of the sparks flying off the TARDIS during the title sequence. And in the Devil's Cord, they even pause a moment and go, "Oh, well, that's wrong," when the TARDIS makes some weird sort of noise. And I'm pretty sure that happens in Wild Blue Yonder as well. So something's going wrong with the TARDIS. And we have a woman called Susan Triad. S-Triad. That's what she goes by in our first Doctor Who trailer. In Unit HQ, if you zoom in on one of the screens in the background, it says S-Triad. What's that an anagram of? TARDIS. She is the TARDIS put in human form, which isn't an impossible thing to imagine. We've kind of seen this before with Idris back in The Doctor's Wife in Series 6. The TARDIS is capable of taking on human form. Maybe she's a Time Lord. Maybe the TARDIS has taken on Time Lord form. Or maybe, I don't know, let me know your theories in the comments. Just going to quickly take this opportunity to say subscribe, please. If you're enjoying the content, it really helps me out a lot. Like, it's my part-time job, and there's nothing I'd rather be doing than chatting waffle about Doctor Who on the internet, so please subscribe to help me out. Yeah. Okay, our next suggestion is Susan Foreman. I mean, her name is Susan. Susan Triad, Susan Twist. Susan. Let's make it a trinity of Susans. Susan Foreman, for those of you who don't know, is the Doctor's granddaughter, all the way back in 1963. She's even been name-dropped this season. In The Devil's Cord, the Doctor and Ruby specifically go out of their way. The script makes them go and have a little chat about family. The Doctor mentions multiple times throughout the season that he's a father in both Boom and The Devil's Cord. And, as I say, he name-drops Susan. He goes, "Me and my granddaughter Susan live over there." Is that setting stuff up? I don't know. And also, it would kind of make sense if it is Susan, because the one who waits. The Doctor, when he last saw Susan, said, "One day I shall come back." He promised his granddaughter, all the way back in his first incarnation, that one day he'd go back and see her, and we're here 60 years later, and he hasn't. So maybe Susan is the one who waits. Maybe this woman who we've been assuming is a threat isn't actually a threat at all. And it is just the Doctor's granddaughter. But why doesn't she recognise the Doctor? Why is she keeping it undercover? Maybe she knows that there's a cataclysmic event on the way in the finale, and, kind of like Clara, she's sort of gone across the Doctor's time stream to try and stop it from happening. Also, it's worth noting that an actress of Susan, Carol Ann Ford, attended the Doctor Who Season 1, Episode 1 premiere back in November. If it's not Susan, maybe it's another family relation of the Doctor. I mean, as I said, the Doctor's mentioned multiple times he's a father. What if it's his daughter? What if she's annoyed at the treatment of Susan and herself, and maybe she survived the Time War? She survived all of this, and something's awoken her. She's annoyed at the Doctor. Maybe there is a secret backstory to the Doctor's kids that we never knew about, because we've never seen them. I mean, delving too much into the Doctor's past may be a bad idea. The show is called Doctor Who. At the end of the day, it's a mystery. We don't want to know too much about the Doctor, but I think family relations are incredibly interesting to delve into, especially seen as the timeless child and the Doctor and Ruby's origins are the backbone of this season. I mean, those words came from Russell T Davies. He said they would be the spine to the new era, so it would make sense if she's a family relation of the Doctor. What if maybe she's even from before the Timeless Child stuff? Like, she's from outside the boundaries of this universe. She's maybe the Doctor's real mother, or something like that. On the topic of being the Doctor's mother, Russell has already done in The End of Time a mysterious woman who keeps cropping up, and she was supposed to be the Doctor's mother. She's never confirmed to be in the script, but that was the original intent by Russell. We've also seen a woman who's heavily implied to be the Doctor's mother in Hell Bent. So maybe this is the same woman. She just changes her face because she's a Time Lord. Showing the Doctor's mother, or who he thinks to be his mother from Gallifrey, could be a very interesting idea. And our final sort of theory here, before I read some of your comments, I've got your theories here, so don't go anywhere, guys. We are going to be reading your theories in a moment. But before we do that, my final theory, or prediction on who Susan Twist's character could be, is the meddling monk. Now, this character is an icon of classic Who. They only showed up in a couple of First Doctor stories, I think The Time Meddler and The Daleks' Master Plan. But they are well remembered, and I did really enjoy them in The Time Meddler. Now, the meddling monk isn't strictly a villain. They sort of, I mean, it's in the name, but they meddle with history. They enjoy playing about, and it's the exact type of thing they do to change gravity to mavity just for the fun of it. Maybe they're not as evil as we think, and they're kind of there for a laugh, or maybe they're trying to warn the Doctor, or maybe their meddling has accidentally caused a bigger event on the timeline, or unleashed a god, maybe Omega or Sutek, or something like that, and they're going back across the Doctor's timeline to try and get his help. Because unless something different has happened with the monk, which that's fine, I mean, I wrote a fan film where the monk was completely evil, but unless that sort of thing's happened, or the monk's gone on a journey, they're not necessarily out for blood, they're not insane, they're not evil. So who knows? It's an interesting thought. Let me know whether you think they're the monk in the comments. Okay, so we'll read a couple of your guys' comments. Sarah Glover suggests, I think she's watching over the Doctor and Ruby for some reason, protecting them or something. Yeah, this kind of ties in with some of the things I've been suggesting. Maybe we're being led to believe she's kind of evil. I mean, the overarching plot threads of Doctor Who seasons, especially written by Russell T Davies, usually end up being like an evil, like Saxon, Prime Minister Saxon was mentioned in a bunch of episodes, then it turns out he's the Master. Planets are disappearing. Oh, that's because of the Daleks. Torchwood, oh, that's this sort of corrupt institute of alien people. So maybe, yeah, it's a bit of a reversal. We're expecting her to be a big villain, a big bad, big evil person of evilness. But in reality, she's like a guardian angel to the Doctor and Ruby. We know that there's this whole thing of myths and all of that jazz, so maybe it is like guardian angel or something along those lines. The Squire suggests, I like the idea that she'll be playing Ruby's mum, but the reason we keep seeing her is the same reason we keep seeing the snow. Ruby's subconsciously manifesting herself, manifesting her somehow. That is a theory that I really, really like. That hadn't even occurred to me, but it does kind of make sense. I was suggesting maybe she's a part of the Doctor's family, but it's Ruby's plotline as well. Ruby's mother, she's been searching for ages, and as this person keeps saying, Ruby can manifest snow. Whenever she thinks about the church on Ruby Road, whenever she's upset, maybe Ruby kind of has godlike abilities and she's willing her mother back into existence, or something like that. But then I suppose that also throws up the question of who is she and why is she so mysterious? If she is Ruby's mum, why can't she just come out and be like, yo, Ruby, I'm your mum? I don't know, let me know more theories you have on that in the comments. Another suggestion here from Lucas is, I guess she's Ruby's mum. Okay, similar lines. I think she's the one who waits. Perhaps she's the death itself. Ooh, her being like death personified is quite interesting. I think they kind of did that in Torchwood with Owen, but also you could do it again. Like Doctor Who reuses concepts all the time. That'd be a really interesting idea, having her be Ruby's mum. And if Ruby is a god, her mum could be a god as well. Maybe she is death itself. Something like that's quite a funky idea. Philip Archer here suggests she's a disguised Tecteun. How else would she be able to time travel to all of those locations? That's another very valid point from Philip. Maybe she is the Doctor's adopted mother, Tecteun, who we saw at the end of Flux. I always thought it was an incredible disappointment how in The Vanquishers, she just gets fluxed, she goes, she vanishes because of Swarm and Azure. I always thought that's a bit of a waste because Tecteun was such an interesting character and had so much potential. So to see her come back is something I'd be 100% up for. I like that theory. And our final theory of this video, if you'd like to see me make a part 2, just let me know in the comments down below. That's not within, no, that is within the realm of possibility. Please subscribe as well, by the way. Our final comment is from TNT2335. I know this is probably not going to happen, but maybe she is Susan. I mean, in Space Babies, the Doctor did mention Susan. Could be a coincidence, though. Yep. TNT, we're thinking on the exact same lines. That is a very interesting theory. And yeah, it's so weird. None of the pieces fully fit together yet, which I'm really glad for. And I think Russell's written this sort of mystery box really nicely because it's kept everyone intrigued. I genuinely don't know where it's going, but I would love to hear more theories. So anything I've missed, drop in the comments down below. Please do remember to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And if you like these videos, just please subscribe. It helps me keep this as my part-time job, and I love doing it. It's great fun. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.